India has a mindset where it punches below its weight. We have to punch not above our weight. We have to punch not below our weight. We have to increase our weight and punch proportionally.
ये हमारा सिद्धांत है, हम घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism.
नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स. दिस इज आदि. हमारे साथ हैं हमारे भाई राजा भाई. क्या हाल है?
नमस्कार भाई. बिल्कुल ठीक. आप ऑल गुड.
यार क्या कर रहे हो यार बेचारे आसिम मुनीर के साथ? आप मुझे ये बताओ पहले, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. क्या ये जो फॉरेन विजिट चल रही है, हम जरा पाकिस्तान का एक जरा बोलते हैं ना रियलिटी चेक करते हैं इस शो के अंदर. तो जरा ये बताओ, ये जो फॉरेन विजिट पे फील्ड मार्शल साहब गए हैं, जिनको सलूट नहीं करना आता बाय द वे अभी तक, तो जरा मुझे ये बताइए, ये क्या करने गए हैं ये लोग?
So basically he's gone to strengthen the narrative of what he was trying to play. एक तो ये कि हमने we have successfully fought the Indian attack on us. Second की basic इसका जो ये है कि how to have a dialogue with India on table. He's looking at getting support for that, international support for that. कि किसी तरीके से जो है डायलॉग बिटवीन इंडिया और पाकिस्तान जो है वो रिज्यूम हो जाए. सो ये बेसिकली वही करने गया. और तीसरा ये है कि ये भी देखने गया कि कहाँ से कौन कुछ मिल देगा, साइड किक में पैसे कहाँ से मिलेंगे, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्योंकि दे आर हैविंग ट्रबल्स. कराची एयरपोर्ट पे पानी खत्म हो गया, वहाँ पानी नहीं होता. पीपल डोंट हैव वाटर टू इवन वॉश देयर हैंड्स. सो थिंग्स आर वेरी बैड इन पाकिस्तान, बट एज यूजुअल दे आर बिलीविंग दैट थिंग्स आर गुड. बट इसका इंटरनेशनल यही है, मेन दो चीजें हैं इसकी. एक तो he's trying to tie up with that, he's trying to strengthen the Turkey, Iran and Pakistan channel. एक उसके लिए गया है. दूसरा he wants to internationalize the Kashmir issue. He wants to bring it back on the dialogue table. He wants to bring it back into the UNSC. He wants a discussion on it. So ये उसके लिए गया है. So there are two reasons why he is going.
उसका UNSC का plan, do you think is going to work?
Look, the Turkish will make noise, the Chinese will make noise, so you're gonna have some noise on UNSC. Yes, ठीक है, क्योंकि वो चाइना और टर्की जो हैं ये दोनों करेंगे, ये बात करेंगे, शोर मचाएंगे. Will it work or will it not work? It's always been the same. Turkey has been doing it since 2019. China has been doing it covertly, but I think this time the Chinese will be, talking about it as well. Let's see how it goes. But UNSC में क्या करेगा ज़्यादा? He's going to talk about it, but nothing more is going to happen, right? But that is the only thing. He's going to create a noise where he hopes that the Americans and others say, okay, come on our table and sit down on our table. The problem is IWT. How are they going to handle IWT is something we have to wait for. अभी तक तो मतलब शहबाज शरीफ ने बेचारे ने बोल भी दिया उस दिन कि पानी पे बात कर लो, ये है और वो है, but IWT is pinching them really, really hard. एंड IWT के लिए ही, उसका कंसेंसस बनाने के लिए ही ये जो है ये दुनिया के चक्कर काट रहा है.
आपका कंसेंसस तो जो बन रहा है, आई मीन जो आप गए हो दुनिया में चारों तरफ, लेट्स जस्ट कीप इट एट दिस सब्जेक्ट एंड देन मूव फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट वन. इज बेसिकली टू वन से पाकिस्तान ने करा क्या, और दूसरा अगर हम दोबारा इसको ठोकेंगे इस वजह से ठोकेंगे. तो ये तो दो चीजें. हाउ डू दीस टू थिंग्स क्लैश?
They obviously will clash because we are more out to prove that Pakistan is an out and out terror nation, and we are going to hit them. We might even be looking at when things get a bit better for us. We might get proactive instead of being reactive. कि ये ठोकेंगे तो हम ठोकेंगे. I think the launch pad पे आते हैं तभी ठोक दो, बैठने मत दो. You don't need to settle these terrorists across the sea. That should be the aim basically. But both ways, UNSC में play होगा. You will also be looking at garnering support from the Europeans, from the UAE, from Saudi, from the Americans, and from UK. So these countries will be looking at saying that it's a bilateral issue and needs to be solved bilaterally. So basically bring it back to where it was. So clash तो होगा, clash diplomatic में भी होगा. I don't see that this ceasefire is going to hold for long. अगर IWT, because he's building up on IWT, अभी कुछ हुआ नहीं है, but then आप you see that by next month the fever will rise on IWT. अगले महीने से इस पे जो है फीवर जो है वो चढ़ना शुरू हो जाएगा पाकिस्तान में. तो फिर बड़ा मुश्किल होगा उनके लिए कि इसको बड़ा सॉफ्ट डिप्लोमेटिकली हैंडल किया जाए. So that is something we have to watch out for.
Yeah. आप इसको अगर थोड़ा ब्रॉडली अगर आप देखो, एक कंसेंसस तो दुनिया में आना शुरू हो गया है अबाउट टेररिज्म, where certain countries in Europe, Southeast Asia, although American establishment is talking about it, Donald Trump तो थोड़ा अलग है, but how do you see that consensus जो एंटी टेररिज्म का कंसेंसस बन रहा है, एंड स्पेशली जो ये एक दो अटैक्स अभी हुए हैं, इंग्लैंड में एक अटैक हुआ है, उसके बाद इधर उधर थोड़े से अटैक्स हुए हैं, तो टेररिज्म का कहीं ना कहीं एक दोबारा से वो फोकस में आ रहा है. So what do you say to that?
Terrorism is coming to focus, but you have to understand the consensus coming in between is from the people. The people on social media are far more, receptive to the terrorism which is happening on the ground, whether it is UK or whether it is Europe, right? But the political leadership is not. ये तो बात भी नहीं करते हैं, ये तो रिपोर्ट भी नहीं करते कि terrorist attack है.
Yeah.
They don't even call it out. हाँ, so उनकी political correctness इतनी है कि they don't want to acknowledge this problem, right? And then I think with Donald Trump in power now, the way he's behaving, at the end of the day, this terrorism business is becoming just a tool for your own gains. So yes, everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody says it's bad, but then look at every country around you, except a very few who genuine, like Israel or like India. These are two countries I believe who have a very firm stance on terrorism. The rest are very amiable to it. The rest are very okay with it. But it gives you a good option to go after the terrorists. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not going to tell you, "Here, why are you doing this?"
That's
So that
the
is
point.
how I see it. But
आप
so
ट्रम्प
I
के
don't see nothing.
हाउ डू यू सी दीज डील्स, क्रिप्टो करेंसी और इन चीजों के बारे में डील्स कैसे देखते हो आप? हाउ डू यू सी द डील्स मेड बाय ट्रम्प? जेरेड बीच की वो जो स्पीच है, मैंने चैनल पे कवर करा था. हाउ डू यू सी दिस हिडन एजेंडा ऑफ अनदर फैक्टर व्हिच इज कमिंग आउट कि भाई पाकिस्तान तो जो भी है, चाइना has also given $300 million to Trump, and at the same time when all this was happening.
So, see, I'll tell you something about the Americans. The problem with the Americans is they want to come on ground in Pakistan. Okay? They want to keep the Chinese influence away. Now, how do they keep Chinese influence away? So the way to keep Chinese influence away is to make all these people corrupt. Journalists from top to bottom, politicians from top to bottom, make them corrupt. And this cryptocurrency deal is going to, involve the creamy of the creamy layer of Pakistan into this network. So one is to make them corrupt and make them come to you so that you can arm twist them easily. The Chinese have just given $300 million. The Chinese are having their own game plan with Trump. Trump is looking at deals with China. 30% पे tariff लिया है, वहाँ रुक गया. Things are not very good between China and US. But the US focus in Pakistan is very, very huge. They want to cut out the Chinese influence. Now there are only two ways to cut out the Chinese influence: either supply Pakistan with weapons or give Pakistanis the money. The US is not sure if giving weapons is a good option to Pakistan anymore. So the next best option is to keep on front rolling them and make them corrupt, make them bend more towards us. So that is how the US is playing. US is playing a very, very dirty game. Also understand that this cryptocurrency game is then going to fund a lot of terrorism in the region. Right. So while Trump might say that I'm going hard on drugs and I'm doing this and I don't want narcotics and trade and all that, he might appear very, very strong on this. But he's creating a parallel system wherein drugs can be replaced with crypto for terror financing. So that is why they're setting it up in with the Pakistanis. So he has his own interest in Pakistan, and that is why he's doing this in Pakistan. So the Americans are very confused. Not very confused, but they're actually playing dirty. They're actually playing very dirty. I lost it. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Is it America playing dirty or is it Trump playing dirty? Because American establishment की तरफ से there is not fear, but there is amazement coming as well.
Yeah, देखो, there is nothing difference between American administration and Trump. कोई Trump कोई अलग नहीं है, American administration कोई अलग नहीं है, ठीक है? They might behave amiss, but at the end of the day, they have to follow the orders from the president. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So I don't see a difference between the two at all. So, but I understand what Trump is trying to do. I see the game what Trump is trying to do. He's
What's
playing a
up?
very, very dangerous game. He's trying to reset the world order, basically.
क्या कर रहा है? What is your opinion? करने की क्या कोशिश कर रहा है?
आग लगा रहा है और कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. He's going to light fires everywhere. Europe is also going to be up in fire. Watch next 2 3 years. You know, the way they are dealing with Russia, the way he's trying to deal with Israel, the way he's trying to deal with Iran. वो क्या हुआ? Iran talks का fourth level के बाद बात ही नहीं हो रही. Right, the ball is again back in the Israeli court. The Israelis are now going to decide what is going to happen. So this guy is playing a very murky game, and he's trying to rake in as much money as he wants to. He's looking at about 2 trillion per शायद ये ले आया अभी तक. So he's looking at those things. But at the end of the day, the American policy is never going to change. You know, a lot of us have this thing: the American, if a Republican will come in, things will change. You know, the Democrats are the bad ones. If you look at the American policy, it's been very consistent for the last 20 years, whether it is the Democrats or the Republicans who have been in power. Yeah, the relationship, balancing is different, but they recognize who to balance with what. But I think this man is stepping a bit overboard by. I think he's overplaying his card. और कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, ये अपना कार्ड ओवरप्ले कर रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा ओवरप्ले कर रहा है. So that is
He
going to
will
come in
get
right.
today. Elon Musk is already left, so he's going to get smacked by that. There's no question about it. You know, coming back to the region.
I'm not
Coming
very,
back,
I'm not very
yeah,
sure. Musk fully. Next.
yeah. कमिंग बैक टू द रीजन, आज जो बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग सी चीज हुई है, एक रिपोर्ट आई फ्रॉम समबडी हु आई डोंट ट्रस्ट, लेट मी से दैट वेरी क्लियरली, एंड वो रिपोर्ट कहती है कि भाई टीटीपी इज अटैक्ड इन रावलाकोट इन पीओजेके. नाउ टीटीपी अटैक इन रावलाकोट इन पीओजेके, मेरे एंटीना खड़े हो जाते हैं, सो इज एवरीबॉडीज एंटीना. आपका भी खड़ा हुआ, एवरीबॉडीज एंटीना गॉट टाइम. ये क्या है? ये ठीक नहीं है. व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन?
No, it is not a TTP thing. TTP is not operating there as of now, and they don't need to also. Because Rawalakot is a very different place. You have to understand the control on the jihadis Pakistanis have in that area. Okay? This is where Lashkar-e-Toiba works. This is where Jaish-e-Mohammed operates. This is where people are attuned to the mindset of that. So TTP is not going to come into Rawalakot to do anything. But we know the sensationalists sitting in Pakistan, who want to sell their tweets and their stories to everybody. So they told this what we call children. TTP hai or TTK hai, Kashmiri or whatever. I don't know. I didn't see the tweet even of the guy. But there's no TTP there. Absolutely no TTP. See, there are a lot of rogue terrorists who are, I would say, disgruntled by the Pakistanis. But then most of them go and join ISIS, or most of them go and go towards Afghanistan. So maybe this was one rogue incident because he had killed the police fellas before as well. There are criminals galore in that area. Yeah, they're all bloody criminals in that area. So there is no TTP there.
दिस इज अगेन, मेरे को पता नहीं क्यों लगता है, इफ यू रिमेम्बर बीच में भी एक कोशिश की गई थी टू इंटरनेशनलाइज और टू ब्रिंग टू फोर्ट अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन इंडिया एंड अफगानिस्तान. ठीक है, ये पहले भी कोशिश की थी. एंड इफ यू रिमेम्बर वो एसएसजी भैया 600 एसएसजी घुस गए हैं यहाँ पर, 600 एसएसजी आ गए हैं. हाँ, हमने उसके ऊपर शो भी करी थी, वी स्पोक अबाउट इट एज वेल. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज हैपनिंग हियर? बिकॉज़ दिस इज अ वेरी, एंड फ्रॉम अ पर्सन दैट इज
No, he's a sensationalist, yeah. No, he's a sensationalist. Look at his tweets, they're all sensationalists. I don't take him seriously at all. I don't take anything what he says seriously at all. वो राई का पहाड़ बनाता है हर चीज का. So I don't follow him. I don't take his things. I know he's a propagandist. There is one sitting in Bangladesh and there is one sitting in from POJK. They both are the same. एक वो सलाउद्दीन और एक I don't know what his name is, something like that. ठीक है, ये दोनों जो हैं ये they're all propagandists. They're nothing more than that. So I don't take anything seriously coming out of him at least. And see, the Pakistanis don't understand. No, till yesterday, Afghan Taliban was the father and the mother of TTP. Now suddenly father mother has changed to India, right? So these things don't work. And I don't think how they will be able to bridge the gap between the Indians, because at the end of the day, they are no proof that we have got anything to do with TTP, right? It's their own problem. So if they are not able to deal, but then the Pakistanis is always Ra ki sazish and India ki sazish. So they can cry about it. But at the end of the day, just because you want to blame that, Indian agency from Afghanistan is running, you're basically telling the Afghans, pissing them more that you undermining that somebody else is running. And this is a very dangerous narrative by running that the Afghans and Indians are working together. Because God forbid the day Indians and Afghans started working together in Pakistan, they're not going to last bloody 2 months after that.
Which is not far away, by the way. But ये नो दो चार चीजें हुई हैं which is very interesting, and TTP के जो we just keep TTP right now and then we'll go down to the BLA and all that issue. ये जो नॉर्थ में TTP के जो अभी हिट एंड रन टैक्टिक्स चल रहे हैं, एंड TTP की तरफ से अभी काफी टाइम तक नूर वली मशरूद के जो स्टेटमेंट आया था उसके बाद से भी ठंडा पड़ा हुआ है. इट्स नॉट बीन एज एक्टिव एज द BLA फ्रंट. But past 3 दिन में मैं देख रहा हूँ, it's something like somebody lit a fire or something like that under them, and they're doing not frontal attacks, hit and run, high damage attacks. ये क्या tactic?
Yeah.
What is happening here? What are they trying to do?
So basically, TTP and JUA had a fallout. Jamatul Arab and TTP. Okay, they had issues in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That started with the killing of 3 Jamatul Arab guys. TTP actually assassinated them by calling them spies. तो वहां से
Spies.
शुरू हुआ था, तो वो gap जो है वो काफी widen हो गया. So they were trying to sort out that differences between themselves. They have not been completely able to, but they have been able to bridge the gap to somewhat. And now what has happened is that TTP has now entered Balochistan, and that is a very tactical thing to do. There is a tactic behind it. It's deliberate. So these frontal attacks which are happening, hit and run attacks, Peshawar में होता है, इधर होता है, उधर होता है, ये जानबूझ के कर रहे हैं. They are now saying that we are panning out to other areas. Now, what will happen is that TTP will strike in Balochistan, BLA will strike in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That is how you see the equation moving on. Keep watching. That is what is going to happen.
Okay. But पहले जो एक कोऑर्डिनेटेड तरह की टैक्टिक्स होती थी, TTP एक ठोकता था बड़ा वाला, उसके बाद BLA नीचे से इनको तंग करता था, BLA बड़ा वाला नीचे ठोकता था, ऊपर ये लोग तंग करते थे. That seems to have changed in a large aspect. क्या रीजन है?
Chinese factor. The Chinese factor. That is why. That is why I said there will be an entity.
A lot of money has been given.
No, not a lot of money is not being given, but a lot of assurances have been given on a lot of things. There's a lot of back channel happening between Pakistan, China, and Afghanistan at the moment.
What is
so
the
that is why I said that.
What is the change on the ground you see after that back channel meeting that happened?
There is no change. As I said, TTP stopped hitting big targets in KPK completely. They moved to Balochistan. It's a matter of time before the Baloch will come up to KPK and start hitting them there. So it's just a change of tactics from them as well. And then the Afghanis are going to say, हम क्या करें यार, हमने तो खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में बंद करवा दिया, ये बलोचिस्तान में मारते हैं. वो बलोचों को हमने वहां बोला था मत करो, वो खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में घुस गए, वो उनको कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते. That is the kind of game the Afghans are going to play.
They're the same group?
Who said? Are they?
Togo! अच्छा चलो, let's go south. ये जो see, you and I have done shows on this, और मैंने तो मैप भी बनाया है मत्संग रीजन के अंदर ISKP कैंप्स के बारे में. मैंने करीब 3 महीने पहले, if you remember that shaded map I had made, 3 महीने पहले मैंने बोला था कि IS के कैंप्स हैं मत्संग रीजन के अंदर, वहां बैठे हुए हैं ये लोग पहाड़ों के अंदर, and they are also sitting in areas closer to Iran. वो जो पूंछ निकलती है ना पाकिस्तान की ऐसी पॉइंटी सी, वहां पर भी कोने में इनके वहां पर प्रेजेंस है. एंड श्योर इनफ BLA goes and takes them out. मतलब पूरा कैंप उड़ा देता है. एंड टू अ पॉइंट जो ISIS का एक स्टेटमेंट आया, which was to me was like, हमको क्यों मार रहे हैं लोग, हम तो यहाँ पर बहुत टाइम से बैठे हैं, why are they coming and hitting us, हमने क्या करा है इनको. It was cribbing sort of a thing. It wasn't angry, like a child जिसको जोर से थप्पड़ पड़ा हो types. What happened here?
Nothing happened. Basically, the Pakistanis are preparing ISKP to fight TTP and BLA, both in Balochistan and in this thing, right? And Mastongwala, I have a hunch that it's the Taliban who took it out. It's
Okay.
actually not. It's actually not the BLA guys. They might have gone in disguise of BLA, but I think it's the Taliban, Afghan Taliban, which they took this thing out.
Send a message to Pakistan.
Yes, send a message to Pakistan. So they literally, I think it's them who had done this.
Because in the larger interest, अगर आप देखो जो ISKP का any hit on ISKP is in the larger interest of this entire region.
Hmm.
आपके भी इंटरेस्ट में है, ईरान के इंटरेस्ट के अंदर है, तजिकिस्तान के इंटरेस्ट के अंदर है, and I'm talking formal governments, not these bloody rogue organizations that are there. So, I mean, do you think there is some sort of a collusive activity which is happening here? Ki is just a warning, because this sort of a huge attack, 36-minute video, there's that all that nonsense that happened. It's not something that has
No, no,
happened before.
there is no collusion which is happening on this. I think the Afghans took them out. Okay. Because after that, if you see, there was another action inside Afghanistan where they took out the ISKP chief. So that whole network they worked out and they took it out.
Yeah.
They used the BLA with them and they took the BLA with them. And I think the Afghan Taliban was involved in that operation. Their men were involved in that operation. So they completely took them off because that's a signature Taliban attack. It had a signature Taliban attack. This is how Taliban, operates. If you see Taliban attack, how they operate camps, it had a very big
Surrounding,
signature of surround
surround and
them,
destroy.
finish them, and then. So it was a typical textbook Taliban attack. Uh, the games that played in the region are huge. So this ISKP factor is going to become contentious in this region. It's not in our interest. It's not in the Tajiki's interest. But at the end of the day, the man sitting in power in Tajikistan, it's in very much in its interest. He would love to do this,
Yeah.
right? So that is where the problem is. And Tajiks, anyway, are more bended towards this. So they already have an ideological rift happening. देखो ये जियोबंदी और सलाफी फाइट जो है ना ये खुलेगी इसी साउथ एशिया में. So yeah, ISIS or Taliban, yeah, ISIS or Al Qaeda, what do you want to call them? They are going to clash. This fight is going to happen. ये होगा. Because there are Qatar is involved, Saudi is involved, Turkey is involved, everybody is involved in this. It's not only Pakistan. So this fight is going to get very, very murky. But this fight is going to be more on the borders of Pakistan and Afghanistan, Iran, Central Asia, than it is going to
That's why I'm
trouble us in
asking,
India.
because is Iran
The
kind of
trouble will come. Yeah,
is
Iran is
Iran kind
also
of
there.
awaiting an attack from ISKP, क्योंकि थोड़े टाइम पहले
Yeah,
इन लोगों ने भी
they
कुछ
are.
ऑपरेशंस करे थे.
Yes, they are. So that is what I'm saying. So this whole fight is going to open up in this region. The only threat we have from the same group is from Bangladesh and not from Pakistan. हमारे लिए एक थ्रेड जो है ये बांग्लादेश से आती है, जो हमारे लिए ईस्ट से आती है उनके अपनी ईस्ट से आती है, वेस्ट से आती है. So this game is going to open up, yes. And the more Myanmar Rohingya issue happens, the more active all these areas will become with ISK.
You know, because जो ईरान का भी जिस तरह से गेम चल रहा है, I also know the factor that the IRGC has met some people from BLA. IRGC ने मीटिंग्स करी है इनके साथ just to try and see कि भाई हमारे से ना लड़ो यार, we've got enough problems on our hand. वो एक मेरे को अभी काफी कंफर्म खबर आ रही है कि they have met in सीस्तान. इन लोगों ने BLA के बंदों को बुलाया है. They've sat down, they have discussed ये पूरे जो operations हैं. What is, because it looks like everybody is waiting for Pakistani blood right now. हम तो लगे जो अलग
See,
है. I mean,
हाँ
it's
तो
like,
अभी
पहले पाकिस्तान क्या implode हो रहा था, अभी implode नहीं हो रहा. To me, it's now getting pulled from all directions.
so it is getting pulled from all directions. That is why I said no, that things which are happening with China are very, very important. We need to watch the Chinese very carefully this year. They are trying to keep that pull to a minimum. They don't want this to get stretched into Pakistan. The Americans want this to be stretched completely into Pakistan. So there's a huge fight happening between the two. But the Iranians are also looking at telling BLA we have a common enemy called what is that organization sitting on Balochistan? Yeah? नाम भूल गया मुझे उसका, जिसको इन्होंने लास्ट टाइम मिसाइल भी मारा था, जो ISKP का
हाँ,
हब है।
जुंदला जुंदला जुंदला
हाँ, यस।
हम्म,
तो they have sat down with them and said, look, we have a common enemy sitting in Balochistan. You guys have this independent fight of, Balochistan will support you in Pakistan for it, but with the cost that your activities in Iran should not be there. So they're trying to work out some kind of an agreement with the Baloch. And the
yeah,
Baloch should be open with it. For the moment, it should work. It
yeah,
can actually work out. So let's see what happens on that front, because the Baloch don't trust the Iranians. That's another problem. You know,
yeah. Considering आपका बलोच का, अगर आप बलूचिस्तान का जो मैप देखो, one side of it is completely mixed up with Iran. So if you're going into a major fight, अगर आप पाकिस्तान के साथ जा रहे हो, and then you have another bloody open front at the back, that is not advisable. So it's best to
true,
kind of.
but the problem is the trust deficit between the Baloch, especially the BLA and the Iranians.
Hmm. When do you think Balochis are going to ask declare independence?
अभी नहीं, अभी टाइम नहीं, अभी नहीं, not
But
yet. See,
they're making a charter, right?
they are making a charter. They're preparing it. They want things to go more chaotic in Pakistan. Abhi Pakistanis are on a, somewhere thinking that they are on a better footing at the moment. Munir has just consolidated, right?
Hmm.
So they want again the chaos to lean into Pakistan. They want again that लोग जो हैं ये थोड़े से फिर से एंटी होना शुरू हो जाएं, या पीपल वैसे भी दे आर एंटी एनीवे. I was looking at a survey and that was telling me what is happening in Pakistan, but they are waiting for the opportune time. This is not the time to do that. I think this will backfire if they do it. And then they are also waiting for the Americans to give a green signal. Right now, the Americans are basically putting a hook, line, and sinker around the Pakistani necks. So the Americans will not go and do something which will help the Baloch at the moment. So they will wait for the opportune time to happen. Once once the Americans have them around the way they want them around, then they will start pulling this snake. So अभी तो ये शुरू हो रहा है, अभी नहीं होगा.
So I have someone who's from this region. As a matter of fact, मैंने एक बार ही उसके साथ इंटरव्यू भी किया था. He was part of a Pakistani jihadi camp. ठीक है. He's now Bhagbuke. I mean, he was 16 when he was in a Pakistani jihadi camp. I'll tell you offline who he is. There's a contact who gives me quite a lot of inside information, and this is what he wrote to me today morning. And he says Turkey has agreed to further help Pakistan to keep BLA and TTP busy. That is why you see the ISKP activity happening in that region. But this ISKP activity is not just for the BLA. This is also now the Turkish fighters, which are going to be used in this region along with infiltration into China as well. What do you think is happening in this direction?
See, the Chinese infiltration, I'm not going to buy, because the only reason Chinese are supporting Pakistanis is because the infiltration is not there. They use the Pakistanis for it. So Pakistanis will not even dare it, because then Pakistan's game is over. ठीक है? They will not even have, they will have nothing. So they are not going to play with the Chinese. But as I said, the Saudis are involved, the Turks are involved, the Qataris are involved, everybody is involved. The fighters in Syria might not even turn around towards this region to fight the TTP and the BLA. And this is a fight between the Deobandis and the Salafis. So that is
Salafis.
exactly what he's saying, what I'm saying, but except the China factor. China कोई enter नहीं करेगा.
What if America says कि भाई start करो इसको? Will the Pakistanis be able to resist American pressure?
हाँ, तो Americans तो चाहते हैं ना ये start हो. Americans have their own game. They want to break Balochistan. They want China out of Balochistan.
Fantastic.
They don't want China.
If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you. I love the fact that you said this. Because now let's take two countries, Pakistan and Bangladesh. And let me put something in perspective for you. Pakistan and Bangladesh are both countries that are pulling China and America inside them. Okay? Now look at Bangladesh. China is getting pulled inside Bangladesh, so is America. But America is working against Chinese interests in Myanmar and Bangladesh. ठीक है, तो वो चाइनीज को खींच रहा है, चाइनीज को डंडा मारेंगे उसको. एंड द सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग इन पाकिस्तान. अमेरिका पाकिस्तान को तो सपोर्ट कर ही रहा है, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा बलूचिस्तान को सपोर्ट कर रहा है अगेंस्ट चाइनीज इंटरेस्ट हियर आल्सो. So this is a similar pattern which is coming up here.
Both places, both the places, and both the places, same thing will happen. So ये तो होगा ही होगा क्योंकि the fight with China is intense. American fight with China is intense. America knows that if they don't stop China in its tracks now, they are going to be in big trouble in the next coming decade to 2 decades. So they have to stop them. And then it is also about the control of the region. The Americans, once they withdrew from Afghanistan, you know, China has made considerable gains. So you look at the way Chinese are also enticing the Afghans. So there is a lot of play happening in the background here. And तभी मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि this chaos will increase because these jihadis will come from Syria. They will fight them. You will have the Iranian forces fighting them. You will have BLA, TTP on one side.
There'll be literally
And then
fire
you
on
will
our
have,
boat.
yeah, it's going to be very, very hot. Next 3 years are going to be extremely hot.
Yeah.
So brace. Yeah.
My last question to you is that as far as the jihadi activities which are around the place, अगर आप देखेंगे, the amount of stuff which is actually taking place in terms of consolidation, ये लोग काफी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि भाई किसी तरह से consolidate करें इसको पूरे activity को. Let's kind of bring it to a point where हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ threaten कर सकते हैं या कुछ कर सकते हैं. We can figure something out. What is it that is happening here? Because the incendiary speeches और ये सब चीजें चल रही हैं. But do you think they will be able to take this thing forward?
They will try to take it forward. They're preparing. I told you, no, IWP is going to be an issue.
हाँ.
So just wait for things to pan out next month. By next month, there is going to be considerable heat, and that is why these are coming with these inflammatory speeches and all that. They are preparing their plan A, plan B, plan C in place. They are putting everything in place, just in case things go from bad to good. And in that case, yes, they are going to do it. So that is why they are doing it. It's not a random thing. नहीं कर रहे, जानबूझ के कर रहे.
So basically, hair cutting का time आ गया है पाकिस्तान का दोबारा से.
यार हेयर तो उनका कट हो गया, गंजा करने का टाइम हो गया, इस तरह चलाने का टाइम.
नहीं, कभी-कभार हो जाता है ना. कभी-कभार होता क्या है ना, वो जब वो चलाता है तो कहीं ना कहीं एक पैच लग जाता है, तो ये पैच भी थोड़ा
इस बार इस तरह चलाने का नहीं है, तो हमें बहुत दाल काट दी उनके, इस तरह चलाना चाहिए उनके साथ.
I know Raja bhai, you're busy and you've still taken out time. My gratitude to you. Request to everybody. Yeah, and I'm waiting for us to start our regular game again, because I know आप busy. What you're doing is important. So my wholehearted support to you. But obviously waiting for us to start our regular game again on Sunday nights, because वहाँ पर हमारी meme time, ये time, वो time पूरा हम लोग करते थे. We will start that again.
Yeah. I actually missed that. It's more fun.
So मेरा सबसे request है, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course share this with your friends and families. And सबसे request है, if you can contribute towards the channel, use the QR code या फिर PayPal या फिर super sticker, super chats. Let's take there are a few questions. Let's just take them. And Angry Hanuman ji, thank you. Field Mar साला कल बंकर में छुपा था. By the way, अपना मरियम बंकर बहुत फेमस हो रखा है, पता है आपको ना?
बहुत famous, it's very hit. It's a big hit.
That was really below the belt, if I may say that. ABCD, thank you. He said Pakistan doesn't have the GDP. It is GDP's grossly damaged product. They are Peshawar terrorists staying in Sialkot. They are Lahore, and India has stopped their Dana Pani. Pani is going to be quite a game. And Modi साहब ने जो इस बारी statements दिए हैं पानी के ऊपर, how has it gone down in Pakistan?
Not well. Not well at all. They are not liking it at all.
Yeah. जिस दिन हीरा मंडी बर्बाद हो जाएगी, उस दिन कंटेंट कैसे बनाओगे आदि भाई? कोई बात नहीं यार, we will sacrifice the content. उस दिन एक दिन मैं छुट्टी ले लूंगा, कोई बात नहीं, चलेगा. Ashwin ji, thank you. Yeah, just like Super Hindus run from Pakistan fake Baloch accounts online saying that government of India isn't sympathetic to Baloch cause, basically trying to create exasperation.
That's an information warfare game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Baloch don't buy it. They're smart people. They're not dumb.
I'm gonna take your opinion on this, and I'll put my opinion as well. But what do you think? Why aren't we supporting Baloch and Pashtuns openly?
Because that's what Pakistan wants. So then they will say that India is carrying out terrorism from its land. So then you get into their trap. So why would you do that? And anyway, why should we do that?
That's the point, and I've been trying to say that you don't realize हमारे किसी के मुंह से बलोचिस्तान निकला ना, वहां पर वो 100 लोग मार देंगे.
People don't understand these things. Huh?
Yeah.
Understanding, they're very emotional. We Indians are very emotional. We operate on emotions.
Life with Krishna. Thank you. What's your opinion on the upcoming mock drills? Is it just normal preparation? We can see Sindoor going into phase 2.
No, it's just a normal preparation. Yeah, there are a lot of things which happen behind it. I don't want to elaborate on it, but it's just normal preparations. Nothing more, nothing less. We are not going offensive on anything till the Pakistanis literally give us a excuse to go offensive. So it's good. Preparedness has to be there. The op is ongoing, so why not?
ऐसे मत
Posturing
बोलो
is
यार.
very, very important.
ऐसे मत बोलो. The sheer
Posturing is
existence of Pakistan is an excuse enough.
and obviously यार जब the moment you declare something बेचारे वो भी हरकत में आते हैं तो पैसा खर्च होता है तो अच्छी बात है ना.
Yeah. All right. Shri, thank you. Is Russia really our ally? They seem to supply critical weapons to adversaries. Isn't it the right time to show allegiance and create new axis? What have they
Yeah,
supplied to
please,
Pakistan?
this is
Nothing.
not a lovers relationship where no, they are doing something on the back. Putin has just did something with Shabash Sharif. Just told him. But the point is not that. The point is,
Steve.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Please understand that is how this world works. There's nothing but showing alliances and all that. ठीक है ये सारा पिक्चरों में लाइफ में फ्रेंडशिप्स में काम आता है. ये geopolitics में ये चीजें नहीं चलती. It's a very murky game. Your friend can sell weapons to somebody else also. The bloody Pakistanis were selling to Israelis who are their खून का दुश्मन. Please understand how this thing works. So
हाँ
there is
तो
no time of proving friendships there. Time
हमारे
when it comes to prove friendships, UNSC. That is where it stands. That is where it works. So diplomatically, your support is there. That is important. Don't think that boycotting everything black and white नहीं होता कुछ. Don't
हमारे
isolate
आर्टिलरी
yourself.
शेल भी तो यूक्रेन में थे.
हाँ वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना तो it's not it's a very complex thing. The world doesn't operate just because it's either or पे नहीं चलता. Nothing is either or.
Yes. Rashmi ji says India has come to international community for decades. The limit has reached. It's time not to heed them anymore. Modi ji in Gujarat said a thorn gives pain to the entire body. It should be removed. He's going very aggressive here, Modi sahab.
He has to go aggressive. Why wouldn't he go aggressive? He's giving India's position towards Pakistan. He's telling the world that I'm not going to sit back and I'm not going to take nonsense from them. So why shouldn't he do that? He's dictating India's foreign policy to the world that this is how it is going to be. So he's being aggressive and good he's being aggressive. यार हमारी प्रॉब्लम है हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर एग्रेसिव नहीं होता हम बोलते हैं यार ये एग्रेसिव नहीं है हो जाता है फिर बोलते हैं ये गोइंग वेरी एग्रेसिव आई नो आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट पीपल नॉट no there are people who are complaining he is aggressive why should he be aggressive we should be
Yeah. How deep is the ISI penetration with the Turkish intelligence agencies?
very deep good question very deep they reach together at a lot of places they work together they do intelligence sharing they do a lot of operations together they are deeply embedded into information warfare campaign around the globe. So it's a very big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you foresee China gravitating to India to control and bifurcate Pakistan at the time of crisis?
No. It will depend the trade-off. The trade-off will depend. For now, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
The trade-off is the key.
That's the point. Okay. Do you have any updates on Azerbaijan Bombardier Global 5000 that landed in Pakistan last night? Drones.
No, I have not followed it. I don't know.
Drones have
Maybe
come. Yeah, they
maybe
bought.
drones.
नहीं, what happened was जब ये Turkey गया था, they asked the Turks for drones. Turks don't have any stocks right now. ठीक है, so the Turks
So
have said
Azerbaijan.
they've sent them 400 drones. And last one, second last one, sorry. Gopal Krishna ji says Munir's first designation as FM Nishane Maryam.
No, it is not Nishane Mariam. It is Hilalo Pakistan. That's his first designation after being a field marshal.
Last one, did you read the Wire article by Ranjit Bedi on the PAF? Why the hell is Wire not banned even after all this crap? Maaf, मेरी तरफ से तो
Please ask that to Sarkar. We are not the ones. We would love it to be banned, but then also you have freedom of speech. They can write anything. It's up to you want to consume that crap or you don't want to consume that crap. Most of the people don't, so it doesn't matter what they write. Junk is junk.
Raja bhai, thank you so much for the time. I told you 40 minutes.
Thank
We are
you.
at
Thank
exact
you.
40 minutes. And
Thank you so much.
thank you for the time. And I shall see you back once again when you're back online. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.